number of times someone has tried to get into our call queue.
Right.
And I mentioned, right, that we have been opening up that queue. That's why the numbers were around 1 million in 22 and 23. We opened it up more in 24, and we've opened it up further in 2025.
What do you mean when you say you've opened up that queue?
So there are X number of spots in the queue, in the phone lines. We can't have unlimited. That is not an option. We have to have a number. But there was a theory many, many years ago that waiting on hold for too long was a problem, and therefore not letting people in was the better option. So they would keep calling back. We believe the opposite. We believe that folks are actually willing to be on hold a little bit longer, and that we should open up that queue. So that's what we've done there.
Do you still have people, do you still shut people out though, or is it the queue? So you do still shut people out because you said it's
Yes.
not, okay.
Yes.
Um, so those 2.4 million, 467,000 of them, you answer when they call you within a few rings or something.
Well, they get into the queue, they may hang up. We're only answering, we are speaking 467,000.
Okay, so they could have waited for a long time before they get answered.
Correct.
So what's your average wait time? Do you know?
I do. Let me see if I have that in front of me. We were at 7 minutes before we did the most recent expansion. I think we're at 10 right now.
So
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm still what I'm trying to get at is how many people don't get through.
Sure. The challenge with our data here is that this is instances, not individuals.
Right.
So it's very likely that those 467,000 that we did talk to called 3 or 4 times. Right?
Yeah.
It could be 3 or 4 of that blue bar.
Do you
Um,
do you feel that this is because the data is sort of like apples and oranges with the
yeah.
blue portion of the data? Do you feel that this year's unmet need is greater than previous years? Or do you think it's comparable?
Comparable, but as I noted, I think we've had improvements across our processing spectrum. As I noted in talking about the CRM, I think there was a decline in some of the efficiency of our customer service resolution initially with the rollout of the system.
Understood. So
Yeah,
you're asking for 25 pins. How many pins do you have now that are answering calls?
we have 50 answering calls right now. As we bring in those 25, 20 will be on the phones. 5 are going to be allocated to more of root cause type solutions. So to prevent the phone call in the first place. So
And you
that's
think you need how many to answer phone calls
we believe that we need 120 at the current volume.
total? So you think you need 50 more?
Correct.
I got to tell you, the number one issue that we get in our office is not being able to get through to the comptroller.
Yes.
Um, these numbers kind of spell out what the problem is, and seems to me that we ought to be able to do a better job with providing you with the resources that you need, because this is pretty sobering to look at that, the amount of people that are trying to get through and the amount that are actually getting through. That's all for me, but thank you for elaborating on that.
No. And thank you,
I'd
Dr.
love to,
Watson.
I'll chime in and just thank you for that, Chair Watson. I think, another thing to keep in mind, I know unemployment has also been a challenge, and I think over 120, the General Assembly allocated over 120 pins to unemployment to DOL last year, which is great because people need to be able to get through. Um, One other thing to remember here is that if folks, when they can't get through on the phone, They show up sometimes at our offices. So our offices as well have had record number of people
Yeah.
coming into our offices without appointments. And we're totally, we can't handle the volume there. So, people need resolution. The other thing I'll say is that lots of these people are they sometimes they are coming in because they owe money and they've received a bill. And so if we can answer the phone and help them pay, we bring in money.
Right.
So it is really to the state's benefit for many,
Of
many
course.
reasons to be
Yeah.
able to answer these folks in a timely, quick way and get these things done.
Do any of you know what, off the top of your head, what the cost of the 25 pins that you are requesting is?
We can probably before the end of the hearing,
Yeah,
like
just
mail
put
it
it in the
over to
chat or
you.
something. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I really think you should be asking for more.
I mean, so we asked for all 120, or we asked for,
Yes.
how many it was last year in our initial budget ask, recognizing that we were not going to get that. So we received 25, so grateful for those. So we thought, we will ask for 25 more. Certainly happy to work with you all. That budget request has gone into DBM, but certainly happy to work with DBM and you all to try to increase that number during session or in the governor's budget. These are folks who, are certainly critical to making the whole system function more smoothly.
That's right.
But if I'm interpreting, the last comment I have is, if I'm interpreting that graph correctly, only 19% of that 2.475 phone calls are getting answered.
Hmm.
Phone calls, not people, but phone calls.
Right, phone calls.
So,
Yep.
so you have a 19% chance of getting someone on the line when you call.
Answer rate. We have a 19% answer rate.
Correct.
Yeah, it's really unacceptable. And it's part of the reason we moved into CRM. We're modernizing our systems to try to make it so that
Understood.
people don't have to call.
Yeah.
But this is, so anything you all can do to help us get more people on the phones, like we'll train them and get them in.
That's right.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Well, welcome, Madam Chair. And quick question for the controller. So there is a recent announcement on the aid to furloughed federal workers. Could you talk about that and what's going on? Because, we'll just love to hear an update on that really quick.
Sure, absolutely. So the two key programs that we are involved with to help our federal workers who are, being so negatively impacted by this shutdown. One is the $700 loan payments. So that the General Assembly created. The State Department of Labor administers those on the front end. Then they get routed to Luther Dolker, who you met earlier, to his team to get that money, to work to get that money out the door. So we're sort of the back end of the system, which is how we manage the port payments after the bridge went down as well. The other announcement we made recently is that we're suspending requirements of payment plans. So if you are a federal worker and you owe back taxes, you are probably on a payment plan to pay, a little bit at a month to try to pay off your debt. So we are going to suspend collection of those for any individual who wants us to, and not require payment until 60 days after the government reopens. Some individuals might not want that. They might want to keep paying to get out of debt, depending on their economic situation. So we're not just sort of doing it across the board, but if people reach out via our CRM, right, via our website, or through a phone call, we will set it up so that they don't have to pay right now.
Well, thank you for that update. So tying this new initiative for furloughed federal workers with the issue of calls not getting answered, is it because it's not tax season? So those folks who might be calling your office for these issues with payments to furloughed federal workers, is there a greater chance that their calls will get through?
Yeah, there is. Certainly it's better than this happening in April, right? So yeah. And I think we set up an email account as well,
So
specifically for this.
That's right. Let me amplify that. We've set up a specific email that is routed with priority. We've been trying to get away from email. It's a terribly inefficient way to communicate with taxpayers on these complicated issues. But it is the most direct way to reach us and the easiest way. So we've stood one up for this purpose. And we would really that would be our optimal
Right.
sort of
Yeah.
action.
Thank you. Are you in a position to share that email address they should use now or at the end?
Yes,
Yeah,
what is
so I'll
it?
put it
We
in
put
the
it out in a
chat.
press release today. It's on all of our social media.
Okay.
And I can't think of it off the top of my head, but maybe Andy or Matt can find it.
Yeah, we'll get it and we'll drop it in the chat if the chat is
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for all
Thank
you
you.
do. It's a tough job, and the modernization of your systems is really to be admired. So thank you so much. And I'll just say, make sure, please, that you track all the legislation that might affect your agency in the next session to educate members not to bring new requirements in that might jeopardize your modernization efforts. So that tracking has to be done by you and to let us know if anything might impact you adversely. And I think our members will be quite mindful of that. And because we want your agency to be very successful, especially in the modernization effort.
Thank you. We absolutely will do that, and we'll keep you and the presiding officers updated. Thank you.
Thank you, Treasurer, Controller, and
I won't tell him.
members of the team. Appreciate you. Have a great day.
Thank
Any more
you.
questions from the committee members? Okay, great.
Thanks very much for the update.
Thank you all. Appreciate your support.
Thank you very much.
I'll follow up with the email address that was requested. Looks like chat's disabled right now.
Okay, great. Thanks. Okay, we'll move on to annual review of local government audit reports from Mr. Wells, Audit Manager, and Mr. Watcher from the Office of Legislative Audits.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Wells, you're up first.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Well, you can proceed when you are ready.
Appreciate it. Good afternoon, co-chairs and other members of the committee. My name is Rob Wells, and I was the audit manager of the Office of Legislative Audits for OLA's most recent desk review of the local government audit reports. Also on the call with me today is John Wachter, the senior auditor, who will present the findings noted during the review. John was very instrumental in getting this review done in a timely fashion. Today, we will present the results of a review of the audit reports submitted by each local government for the year ended June 30th, 2024, which are summarized in our audit report entitled Review of Local Government Audit Reports dated July 17th, 2025. Our presentation is similar to the years past and will address the following areas: an overview of the local government auditing process, then John will present problems disclosed by our review of local government audits, and finally, I'll briefly comment on some follow-up actions and we'll conclude our presentation. For the 223 audit reports due, we found that local governments have generally complied with generally accepted accounting principles and auditing standards. Additionally, local governments generally appear to be in good financial governance and when appropriate to their auditors in an effort to ensure that conditions do not recur. Generally, each county, incorporated city or town, taxing district located in Maryland is required by law to have an annual audit. Based on the provisions of Title 16 of the Local Government Article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, each local government is required to have its financial statement audited. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, I hear you.
I can hear you.
Interruption in the net, but you're doing good now. Things are good now.
Okay, let me know if it happens again. I can try to jump to another location in my office.
Okay. Will do.
Let's see where I left off. So additionally, the local governments, they appear to be in good financial condition. When areas of non-compliance, potential financial problems were noted, we sent letters describing conditions to the local governments and when appropriate to their auditors in an effort to ensure the conditions do not recur. Each county, incorporated city, or town is required to have an annual audit by law. Each local government is required to have its financial statements audited by independent certified public accountants in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. This law also requires that financial statements be presented in accordance with generally accepted that they have to be done in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards, and the law also requires that the financial statements be presented in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, and that the results of the audits be submitted to the Office of Legislative Audits. Most local governments must file their reports on or before October 31st for the preceding fiscal year ended June 30th. However, local governments whose populations exceed 400,000 and certain other counties must file on or before December 31st of each year. In addition, extensions may be granted to local governments for valid reasons. By law, certain small local governments may request waivers of the annual filing requirements and instead have only an audit done once every 4 years. 7 local governments requested and were granted waivers of the annual filing requirement for fiscal year 2024. As provided for under the law, we have issued audit guidelines that address the basic requirements that must be met by the local governments and their independent auditors. While the independent auditors determine the specific procedures necessary in each audit, the guidelines are intended to help ensure the minimum acceptable level of quality is maintained for audits and financial reports of local governments. Our office performs a desk review of each audit report to identify areas of noncompliance by using a quality control checklist for government audits published by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. For example, we generally determine the auditor's report was presented in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards, whether local government's financial statements were presented in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, and whether financial statement disclosures were adequate. Our desk review also includes a review to identify noncompliance with certain state laws, such as Local Government Article Section 17-101 of the Annotated Code of Maryland, which requires all deposits held in banks by local governments be insured or otherwise collateralized. Additionally, our desk review includes a basic financial analysis of each local government. We do this analysis to include a review of various financial trends and ratios, for example, a ratio of the general fund balance to annual expenditures, to provide some insight regarding potential financial problems at the local government level. Upon completion of each year's review, we prepare a report summarizing the areas of noncompliance with the audit guidelines or with state law. In addition, when applicable, our report discloses potential financial problems at the local government level, such as deficits in general fund balances and unfavorable financial trends and ratios. The summary report is submitted to the Comptroller of Maryland and Executive Director of the Department of Legislative Services as required by law, as well as other interested parties. Finally, state law requires applicable counties to file reports with our office when their reviews of financial reports and audits of special taxing districts created by the counties. Our annual summary report also includes the results of these reviews of such financial information from county-created special taxing districts. John will now present the problems disclosed. Thanks. John, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Good afternoon, co-chairs, members of the committee. Most local governments have substantially complied with standards over the past several years. For the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2024, 223 reports were due from local governments. Our review disclosed that 56 local governments had reports that contained areas of noncompliance with certain audit guidelines. These areas of noncompliance were not of such an extent so as to cast doubt on the reliability of the underlying financial statements. The number of local governments with reports that contained areas of noncompliance did increase from 45 in 2023. In addition, our review disclosed areas of noncompliance with state law for 10 local governments that had unsecured cash deposits. Additionally, our review disclosed that one local government with a potential financial problem during fiscal year 2023. Some local governments did have more than one area of noncompliance with the audit guidelines. The more significant and frequent problems disclosed by our review were as follows. As of April 30th, 2025, 26 local governments were delinquent in filing one or more audit reports as required by the Local Government Article of the Annotated Code of Maryland. Furthermore, 13 local governments submitted their 2024 audit reports after the filing date required by law. The auditor's report for one local government did not express an opinion on the financial statements in accordance with the generally accepted auditing standards. The auditor's report for one local government contained a disclaimer of opinion over the local government as a whole. Specifically, the auditors for the town of Princess Anne's fiscal year 2023 financial statements could not provide an opinion because the auditor was unable to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence in order to express an opinion on the financial statements. While the submission of the audit report satisfies the technical requirement of the law, the inability to express an opinion diminishes the value of the audit because the financial statements may not be able to be relied upon. This same area of noncompliance was also noted in regard to the town's fiscal years 2021 and 2022 financial statements. However, the fiscal 2024 report had an unqualified opinion. That is, the financial statements represented fairly, in all material respects, the financial condition of the town. Financial statements submitted by 4 local governments did not present all the required statements, or the presentation was inappropriate. Financial statements for 7 local governments lacked adequate disclosures in the statements or the accompanying notes. And then we noted that 10 local governments had unsecured cash deposits as of June 30th, 2024. Rob, back to you.
Thanks, John. I'll briefly mention some follow-up actions and then we'll wrap up the presentation and be happy to take any questions. Again, I'll mention that you guys have the Exhibit A in your documents that basically summarizes the report findings and the count of agencies that have had report findings, and it's similar to past years. A letter describing the areas of noncompliance with the audit guidelines noted during a review was sent to each local government and its independent auditor. The letters requested that the matters be examined to avoid a recurrence in subsequent audits. The 2 local governments that failed to file audit reports for fiscal years 22, 23, and 24 were reported to the Executive Director of the Department of Legislative Services. If these reports are not filed, the Comptroller of Maryland, acting upon the advice of the Executive Director, is authorized by law to discontinue the payments of all funds, grants, or state aid to which the local governments are entitled. In summary, OLA functions in an oversight capacity by issuing audit guidelines, reviewing local government audit reports for compliance with standards and regulations, and notifying the local governments and their auditors of any deficiencies noted. We believe that these efforts have helped to improve the quality of audits and promoted fiscal accountability among the local governments in Maryland. To further improve the quality of local government audits, we participate in various efforts to make technical information available to local governments and respond to technical inquiries from local governments and their auditors. We'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Any questions from committee members? If none, I have one question, Mr. Wells. So the towns that just submit a incomplete audit, but they meet the requirements of the law, is that a loophole which maybe we as legislators should look at closing? And so basically, if you just submit a report that's not complete, it's equivalent to no report. Is that something you can comment on?
I don't want to presume, but I think the one county or the one town that didn't issue opinion, I believe that was just an oversight, and they just got their audit report jumbled with their opinion paragraph and their basis of opinion paragraph. I think that was a past due report from 2022, and they've since submitted their 2023 and 2024 reports through this year, and just based upon a cursory provided an audit opinion. So I believe that was just an oversight. There was one other instance, and I think we had that one last year, the town of Princess Anne, where they had a disclaimer of opinion for a few years. Since then, their most recent audit report, that has been cleared. And that's essentially how that process works based on auditing standards. You don't go back and perform another audit of that past period that got a disclaimer of opinion. You address it going forward, and you work with the agency or the entity to address internal controls. There was financial irregularities, things like that. And then once the auditors are satisfied that they can express an opinion, that will change from a disclaimer of opinion to either unqualified opinion or a qualified opinion. For the purposes of our review, we still mention, and bring out disclaimer of opinions, because like you said, while it meets the requirements of the law, the reliability on those audited financial statements could be called into question.
Okay, well, thank you for that answer. I have no more questions. I want to thank you, gentlemen, for your testimony, and look forward to working with you. We'll next move to our local jurisdictions. First up is Dorchester County, and basically, just if you could update us on your progress in meeting the audit report requirement. I think up Council President, Mr. Lenny Pfeiffer.
Thank you, Chair Ellis, Chair Watson, committee members. With me, I have Mr. Jerry Jones, who is our county manager, and we have Ms. Karen Tolley, who is our director of finance. Unfortunately, we've had to come before your committee this is our third time coming before you, but I can assure you that in Dorchester County, our number one priority is getting these audits done, complete, up to date. We're finding and running into issues that go back well before any of our tenure started here. Unfortunately, of poor practices. We also have contributing elements such as we were hacked at one time, lost over 23 servers of information. We were in the middle of a software data migration where we actually had problems with the migration of old data to new data. We had a transition of management, personnel issues, and I could go on and on with reasons and excuses, but I don't want to do that. We're trying to move forward here. We've had the Government Finance Office Association come in and do a survey of our office, so we're implementing best practices, and we're trying to fix all these problems in the past. I'm happy to say that we are good with all of our vendors and all of our suppliers. We don't have any any outstanding debt to any of those that is not being paid on a regular basis. And we're doing everything to get past this right now. So we do want to let you know that we have a new accounting firm. And as you all know, the audits have to be done by an independent auditing firm. So we are somewhat at the will of that independent auditing firm. So as far as 23, we have all data into 23, and an auditing firm has told us that 23's draft will be to us by the end of this week. So we're very happy to report that to you. So as we go along, we're also trying to get our data in a better fashion for future audits. So we're looking at 24, the audit for 24 to be complete sometime in calendar Q2 next year. So we're hoping that will be up to date up through 24 as the end of fiscal 24 or next year comes on to us. We try to keep, we work with Trevor Owen at OLA, DLS informed, and we try to submit as much information, any drafts that we get or any other information at any time. Our books are wide open. Our audits are not finding any kind of anything illegal, anything that was purposely mismanaged on our hand. But unfortunately, while it happened before my time, I take personal responsibility of this as the highest executive officer for Dorchester County. So with that being said, I'm certainly willing to entertain any comments, questions, or concerns that the committee may have.
Any questions from committee members? Okay. Seeing now, one quick question. Does Dorchester County have a rating from those rating agencies? You have to deal with that?
Great question, sir. Unfortunately, due to our audits being so far behind, Moody's and the other agencies have dropped us, so we do not have a rating on the market. So unfortunately, we can't go to the general bond market to borrow any money because of this. So again, this is something that's a major priority. As time goes on, we're going to need to do some schools. We're going to need to do some other infrastructure. So we are doing, this is our number one priority. Our director of finance has had staff coming in on weekends, nights, and everything there. We worked with this new auditing firm. They're putting extra people to us, but again, especially I have concern with the tax season coming up in calendar 26. So for the first few months of the year, it does kind of slow down their the attention that we get out of the season. It goes down a little bit as they're working with their regular tax customers. So it does slow things down, but we're still expecting 24 to be complete in Q2 of calendar 26.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And I wish you all the best as you dig out of that very problematic situation you're in. Because I
Sir
know,
Ellis, we thank you so much for being able to come before the committee to explain our situation. And we do value this time that you give us before your committee.
thank you so much and wish you all the best. And we're here to give you any assistance you might need.
Thank you very much, sir.
Quite welcome. Okay. We'll move on to the town of Berkeley, Virginia.
Hi,
Alvarez,
can you
Ms.
hear me?
Alvarez. Yes, ma'am. Loud and clear.
Good, good, good. Hello. Thank you for your updates to everyone. I just can you still hear me?
Yes, can hear you. I'm having unstable internet, so I have to close my video and audio.
Okay.
But we're here. Okay.
Okay, I just called my auditors this morning. They are Lang, Johnson and Tall out of Seaford, Delaware, to get an update. They have all the information from Barclay, and Mr. Brandon Tall informed me that the 2023 audit will be complete December 31st, 2025. The 2024 will be complete shortly after that. So hopefully the first of next year we will be called up. We're a very small town, less than 200 people. I'm the only employee. And January 2025, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor. So they kind of had to put things on hold. I thankfully had surgery and complete recovery. So I am just working with my auditors and they are getting us updated.
Okay, Ms. Alvarez. Is that it for your
Yes,
presentation?
yes, thank you
Okay.
very much.
Well, yeah, and I'm so happy to hear that you are in recovery and doing so much
Yes,
better.
thank you.
Very happy to hear that. And so you mentioned you're the only town employee. So you
Yes.
have a mayor?
No, well, we have a president, we have three commissioners, we have a
President.
president, vice president, and another member.
Right.
Like I say, we are very small, we meet monthly, but we still, have do the same things that the big towns do, just on a smaller scale.
Okay.
So, but with me being the only employee, it kind of falls back on me, and when I'm out of commission, things get put on hold, but we were pretty much caught back up. And like I say, waiting on the auditors to get that 2023 in, and the 2024 will follow.
So, yeah, thank you for that. So being a small town, I'm not sure of your threshold. Do you or can you elect to file every, I think, not every year? Or
Well, we do, but like I say, we got behind. Of course, our year ends June 30th. So, like I say, I kind of send the auditor what they need and they keep us up to date.
so you're saying you're required to do an annual audit?
I think so. I'm not really sure. I can check with them, but we got behind with our tax reports, our IRS reports.
Okay.
So they're getting us up to date.
So Mr. Wells, I think, has his hands up, may be able to clear that.
Okay,
Let's switch over to Mr. Wells, if you don't mind.
sure.
Sir, go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to add to that. I don't know off the top of my head what the town's annual revenues are for fiscal year 2025, but there was legislation passed this year that any town or municipality with annual revenues of less than $100,000 can file for an exemption from the audit report. Additionally, if they have less than $250,000 in revenue, they can request a waiver where they have an audit done once every 4 years.
I think that's the window we fall under. We do definitely
Okay.
make less than that. Our only income is basically real property tax. We just got sewer in the last year, but that all goes to Sudlersville. We are connected to the Sudlersville line. So basically our only revenue is from real property taxes and personal property taxes. So we do fall under that window. So I guess it would be every 4 years.
Yeah, so basically one of our requirements is that you get caught up to date with your audit reports.
Yes. Yes.
So once FY 24 was completed, depending on the timing of it, perhaps fiscal year 2025 would be eligible for a waiver. John, chime in if I'm butchering that.
Yeah, Virginia, I can reach out to you after the meeting.
Certainly.
I'm looking at my records right now. I'm trying to find your contact info, and I can give you the information you need.
Okay. Can I give you my phone number
Sure.
or?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's 410
Uh-huh.
490 6370. That'd be great.
Okay. I'll give you a call after the hearing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, gentlemen, for that. And Ms. Albers, please follow up and let's get caught up. And
Yes.
and then we'll basically hopefully not see you next year.
I know.
Yeah.
That's the goal for me as well. Thank you
Yeah.
so much though
Yeah.
for being patient with us, and these tiny towns are struggling. But still we're trying to, do what we're supposed to.
Yeah, thank you so much and wish you continued recovery.
Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, we'll move on to Eagle Harbor. I think Mr. Mayor Jones is here. So Mayor Jones from Eagle Harbor or Ms. Guerrera, Treasurer, Eagle Harbor.
Yeah, this is Bertha Guerra from Eagle Harbor, the clerk for Eagle Harbor.
Yes, ma'am. Hello. So you'll be making the presentation today for us?
I thought the mayor was gonna be on and one of the commissioners.
Oh,
I guess I'm left with the bag. Okay.
are you prepared to present, or you want us to get back to you, see if you can have the mayor show up?
I can give a little background on why we are in the position we are, which is not a good position, I understand.
Proceed then, please.
Okay. Our position now started with not requesting an exemption as we have done previously. And also the previous administration was bringing in different people supposedly to do the audits, and we found out that they couldn't do them. I don't know whether they were not certified or whether they just or whether their accounting service was such that they couldn't confirm with it. So we went back to our regular auditor. It's the accounting firm. It's LSWG, and I know those are the initials of the partners. The particular one we worked with is Ms. Webb. And over the years, I've had a good relationship with that company. So the previous mayor asked me if I would go back and reach out to them. Well, I did, and first we got a letter of engagement. That was not completed. That put us further back. And then I went back again and asked her, can she help us out? So I submitted everything that we had, and where we are right now is we're missing a lot of old documents that we needed. So we've retrieved our documents from the auditor. We are meeting on in November to reach out to all of our previous vendors to get the necessary the records, their invoices, back invoices to cover those expenses that the auditor thinks that we need. So we're doing, we're working, this new administration is working hard to clean up what was left or not left from the previous administration. I don't know where else to go from there. I really don't.
Well, thank you for your testimony. Any questions from members? So, yeah, wish you all the best, and if we can give you any assistance, reach out to us, will you please? And we can definitely work with your
We have been
officer.
in contact with someone from, I think, Mr. Wells' office. I'm not sure.
Well, he's right
I can't
here.
remember the name, but anyway.
Yeah, he's right here on the call.
Yeah, I saw. I know he was there. Yeah. But let me explain the reason.
Do you have his contact information?
No, I just have his name, Robert Wells.
Okay,
Yeah,
Mr.
I don't recall any
I
interactions with her directly. I don't know if maybe she's
No,
talking
I
to her
haven't
Earl and
talked to
BLS,
him
but
directly. Just I
John,
can't.
have you had any communication with you? Probably, if it's our office, you probably would have spoken with John.
Bertha, your name sounds familiar.
Yes.
I have spoken with you at some point.
Okay. So do you have my information, John?
I'm looking and I don't have, well, I remember the name. Do you have a phone number I can put down?
Can I give you two numbers?
Sure.
Okay, the first one is my cell number, 202-714-1532.
Okay.
And the other is my landline, is 202-723-7720.
Okay. I'll put you on my list.
Put me on a list. I think I'm already on your list.
Well, thank you. Just
Yeah.
please connect after this meeting, and any assistance you need from us, please reach out to us. Okay?
I will.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And I will let the mayor know what went on.
Yeah, thank you for your bravery in coming.
And take into account that I am not an accountant. Never have been an accountant.
Maybe you can be one day.
So I'm just volunteering on this,
Yeah.
And like the other town, we don't have employees either. So, but we got a small budget, and so that's the main reason why we had to always request exemptions, because that cost of doing an audit just eats up your budget. So.
Right, definitely. Well, thank you so much, and we wish you all the best. We'll now go go to the town of Greensboro. Cindy Yost, town manager, Ms. Yost. So is Greensboro, town of Greensboro here? Okay, we'll
Circle back to them.
circle BS. You want to go ahead, Madam Co-Chair?
Do we have Tyler Rayner here? Go ahead, Tyler. You're muted.
Oh, thank you. So I can report for the town of Lincoln that, we are a few years back on our audits. Our 22 audit is going to be completed in November. And then our 23 information has been put together and our 23 audit will be done shortly after. Our goal is by the end of June of 26, we are done 23 and 24 audits. So we are finally getting back on track. We got behind a few years ago with major water issues that we had on our water system. That took me out of the office and put me in the field for a while. We finally started to recover from that, and we got hit with the flood in May of this year. And we're still trying to recover from that. I'm just now getting back to everything in the office. But we are back on track. We're taking it very seriously to get these back in order, and we will get them done as soon as possible.
So June 26th, you expect to have fiscal years 23 and 24 completed.
That is the goal, yes.
Okay. Any questions from the committee? Thank you, Mr. Rayner, and we will move on to the town of Rock Hall. Do we have Robert Reesill with us?
Yes, I'm here. In 1 second. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. The town of Rock Hall had some problems with our auditor back about 3 years ago. We finally have got caught up and hired a new auditing firm. As of last week, the auditing firm said they will have a 24 audit completed, and then we'll go into our 25 audit right following after it.
So they said they'd have the 24 audit completed when?
By the end, he said by the end of this month, and I've got a meeting with him tomorrow morning to
And you're
find
gonna
out.
hold them to it.
But I'm trying to, believe
Yeah.
me. It's very
Okay.
difficult, but right after he's done with that, we've rolled Perry Company into doing the 25 audit following it.
Great. Thank you. Any questions from the committee? Moving on to the town of Sudlersville. Thank you, Mr. Riesel.
Thank you.
Keith Griffin. Do we have Keith Griffin with us today? Anyone from the town of Sudlersville? Okay, let's go back to the town of Greensboro. Anyone from the town of Greensboro? And then one last shot at the town of Eagle Harbor to see if either of those two people are here. So, Mr. Chair, it looks like we have 3 towns that did not.
Yes, I'm here.
You're
Eagle
here.
Harbor.
We appreciate you being here. We just wanted to check to see if either of your 2 compatriots had signed on, but that's fine.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chair, we're ready to wrap up the meeting. Would you like to take it from here?
Madam Co-Chair, you can
close it out?
Yes, you can close that.
Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything.
No, there's nothing missing. Everything
Okay,
is.
so we did have 2 towns that did not show. So we will talk with staff about that. Are there any questions from anyone on any of the presentations today? All right, then I think we made good progress today on some of these audits, and others we're going to have to follow up with the individual towns, because this is really an important responsibility that they have to the taxpayers of the state of Maryland. And we will make sure that we follow up with those that were not here. We thank the comptroller for her very informative presentation and the work she's doing to modernize the office. And Senator Ellis, I think with all of that, we can adjourn. All right. Thank you, everyone.